the fact of the matter is they've gotten more wind in their sails because have you seen all of the, the breaches and how the data's been used? They were more right than wrong, and their fears have been, shown public that this is why they want to have something that's a little bit more focused. Now, on the other hand, it's a very expensive way to solve this problem. And the thing that I am most concerned about is businesses have become very agile. We move very quickly. We try, we fail, we fix. Government policy does not work that way. So when you get a policy, like Dodd-Frank, or you get a policy like GDPR, if it's not quite right, the opportunity to fix it quickly is very, very difficult.
Michael, one thing we've heard from some people watching this is that big companies have the time and the money and the ability to get ready for this, that it actually might stifle competition and hurt smaller companies from being able to compete.
That was a big article in the weekend, and most of the weekend press was this whole idea was to open up competition, be more transparent, and not make the incumbents more powerful. And when you take a look at, Dodd-Frank with the big banks, and you take a look at GDPR with the big internet companies, we do have the resources and the capabilities to comply. And a smaller company, just doesn't have the ability to do that. And the fines are, does the crime fit the punishment? Well, it's hard to argue because you are only as strong as the weakest link in the chain. And if you make one little mistake, which could seem innocuous and definitely not being done purposefully, you lose all of your, you lose your whole business and all your shareholders and investors.
What do you think the chance is that this law or something even remotely similar gets enacted here in the United States?
Well, is it not enacted in the United States anyways? Most of us are global companies. We have to comply with it. Now, we also make tools to help customers deal with the way that they have to comply with it and provide opportunities for them to understand
how.
No,
but you're complying with it in the context of Europe, unless you've decided that you're going to implement all of these things here. And some companies have, simply because it's easier to do it across the board, but other companies haven't.
I think that you're going to see, we're pendulum swingers.
Right.
We're going to do what's required by law, and we're going to do what's easiest for us to maintain. At the end of the day, if you're writing code, you want to write it once, use it many. And if you have one set of code that you're using to protect customers in Europe, and by the way, you're going to have the same issue in Australia. They have a very similar point of view to Europe on this. So I do think that it's going to tilt more towards what GDPR looks like, and you're not going to want to run separate processes and separate systems.
Because to follow up on what Andrew said, it kind of goes to the whole regulation argument we've been having with Facebook. When it comes to software, Mike, do borders even matter?
Well, that's the thing, 22% of GDP on a global basis is primarily digital. And that's why you see so many CEOs and so many government officials, especially in the United States, getting all amped up over these global trade agreements. Because if we don't have, rules of law and understanding of how digital moves from country to country, and we're driving to the lowest common denominator, it's going to stifle overall economic growth. And I think we can be smarter about that.
What are your clients saying about the state of digital regulation right now? Obviously, this is not, I don't believe we're in the eighth inning. We may be in the first inning or even pre-game. What do you think about where we are in terms of regulating the digital sphere, and also what your clients are telling you?
Well, our clients are absolutely trying to move into the digital sphere. So they're very naive in a lot of circumstances of taking their business from analog to digital. It's a whole net new world, a whole net new set of risks. Boards are trying to understand what is their responsibility to keep the data and the trading that they do over a digital medium, informed with all the different regulations that they have to support. So we are clearly in the very early days of this, and I would hope that a lot of the different governance bodies, we have the World Economic Forum, they're weighing in on this. The business, Jamie Dimon's been weighing in heavily on this with the BRT, which CA is a member of. You're seeing all of us lobbying both on the Hill and in Brussels to try to get better public-private cooperation so that we seek to understand how this is going to evolve so we don't end up with a regulation that is inappropriate and can't be changed over time. Because whatever we think today, we're going to have to be flexible enough to understand that we're going to learn more and try to do more and have the ability to do that down the road.
Okay, while we have you here, just want to talk about your restructuring, which you announced earlier this month in terms of May 2nd was when you announced you're going to do this. There's about 800 people who are going to be laid off in all of this. What does this mean in terms of what the total count is going to look like when everything's done?
It'll probably be the same. over time.
What do you mean it'll probably be the same over time?
This was a whole reshaping of skills. And also, we are advocates of Agile. Agile means you have to develop software together, which means you have to get to geographic locations and have face-to-face interactions. So we took a look at our total employee population, took a look at where they're geographically dispersed and their skill sets, and made some unbelievably difficult decisions in order for us to grow the way the company needs to operate and the kind of skills we need. This was a one-time event. We haven't done this. I've been CEO for 5 years. We made the difficult decision to go ahead and...
So you're going to lose 800 jobs. How far are you along in that process right now?
We're about 500 of the way through.
And how's that just in the past 2 weeks then?
Yeah.
Wow, those must have been some hard conversations.
2 weeks, over the last 2 weeks and almost 18 months of planning. So this is not something that we treat lightly. Our culture is to invest in our people. You never want to be in a situation where you need to do that. But if you think of the other 12,000 people we have in the company and the expectations of the company to move forward, you have to protect those people as well.
But if we're having this conversation a year from now, you think you're going to have the same total headcount?
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So you're going to be hiring another 800 people? We're
going to be hiring. We've budgeted 650. Based on, that's not an exact science.
Right.
It would be plus or minus 10%.
Okay. Would you leave, you're based in New York, actually, 520 Madison, where one of the few software companies that is. Are you going to stay in New York?
We are staying in New York.
Is that harder and harder to do these days?
It's not, it's not the easiest place to get in and out of, as you well know, but there is talent here in New York for specialized skills. We're very enthused with some of our other locations. Boston's on fire. We have 1,000 engineers in one location in Boston, primarily working on security. So getting that whole security portfolio together under one roof where we can really provide a great work environment, I think is going to drive up our productivity, enhance our products for our customers.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.